Greetings, Darklings, 'tis I, Toasted Heretic, and welcome back to our series of 5 bands that Americans think are goth, and we here in the UK do not. Now, this one is really controversial. Even, I think, here in the UK there will be some things banned are goth, but I'm going to say, before we start, get into it, if you want to leave comments and argue your point, do so. Just be kind and be respectful. Remember, this is all about opinions, and let me make it absolutely clear. I absolutely love this band. I'm not criticising them, I'm just putting over a point of view that many people, including I, here in the UK, do not consider our number 3 band to be goth. And that band is Joy Division.
And her eyes were such at all, she's lost control. And she's clinging to the nearest passerby, she's lost control.
What, I hear you say? Surely they are the princelings of all that is goth. If you're in the States. Hey man, that's... Oh, sorry. I won't insult you with the accent. Let's go over the goth point, shall we? Let's go over the goth score for Joy Division. So, Black Factor 2. Joy Division were not a band that went around wearing black everywhere. They actually wore an awful lot of grey. They were also really into the kind of quite smart trousers, and they weren't a jeans band or boots band. They had quite nice trousers and dabbled in Nazi imagery. We'll come on to that in a moment. So I'm giving them 2 for Black Factor. Doom Tune. Marks out of 10 for Doom Tune. I'm going to give them 10. There is not a jolly moment in Joy Division's repertoire, is there? Joy Division kind of invented the whole sort of Doom Tune thing, didn't they? I mean, before they came out punk, right? As all of early goth did here in the UK. So, but Joy Division were less post-punk, more punk, really quite a directly angry punk band who turned the... You see, most bands around that time were like, down with the state, man, we're going to destroy the state, give it to the man. Joy Division, via singer and lyricist Dean Curtis, turned it inwards. I Hate Me, kind of first band of that era to really do that. I know people like Nick Drake had done that before, but he really fired that anger up, that sort of self-hatred thing, and was really good at it as well. But for me, you see, I class Joy Division very much a punk band, but we'll come back to that because I'm going to back up with more evidence to do that. 10 points over Doom Tune, definitely scoring maximum for that. Guyliner, 0. No. You know what their aesthetic was? Nazi youth. Hitler youth is what... I mean, there's sort of short hair with this shaved up the sides and everything, and a sort of slightly floppy fringe, and occasionally with that strap that got really dodgy imagery. Yeah, originally called Warsaw, named Joy Division with Nazi connotations, and it's not like, you know, after Ian Curtis' death, they didn't form a band with dodgy Nazi Oh, New Order. Really asked for it, didn't they, on the Nazi front? I think it's easy to forget at the time just how controversially kind of... I bet this gets demonetized because I've said the N-word, that Nazi. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I bet that they get... Not that I'm going to get money for it because only got 4 people who watch it, but never mind, you get the idea. But, you know, I bet that they... but yeah, they were very much similar. There was no either of them because they would have been in a camp, wouldn't they? Sick joke, sorry. Death Disco. Have I ever heard them at a goth club? Do you know I have? I have, and it's always Love Will Tear Us Apart, which I get is a great record, but they've done better songs to dance. I would love to dance to She's Lost Control. I'll say that again. I'd love to dance to She's Lost Control, because that's a banging tune, isn't it? I mean, again, hardly happy, but what is in a goth club? But do you know what I mean? It's a killer tune. It's got a great dance beat to it, but it's always Love Will Tear Us Apart to the point where it's a little bit predictable. But, you know, okay, I'm going to give them 4 because it is just that song. And finally, in our ranking points here for Gothdom, Life After Death. How influential are they on the goth scene? 10. I mean, I might not think that Joy Division were a goth band, but my God, did they influence tons of goth band. There wasn't a goth band for 10 years, probably ever, that isn't a really big fan of Joy Division. Certainly not in that period, immediately after like the 80s and probably the 90s. I mean, wow. They are really almost like the earthquake which caused the tsunami of goth, but they're not the tsunami. Do you know what I mean? They are a bit like, you could say Alice Cooper, or say Nick Drake, or The Doors were signallers. Joy Division were a very loud signaller, but they weren't goth. So our total points are 26 out of 50, which is infinitely more than numbers 5 and 4. You have to watch videos to find out who they are. But still, I'm not going to class them as goth, and I will explain why. But let's be honest, it's close. Joy Division's image. I want to talk image because goth is part image. Let's be honest about it. It is, and their image was very working class northern, and that's where they saw themselves at. When they were around, didn't really break through in London until after Ian Curtis's death. I know it sounds ridiculous, but they were just at the point of really pushing through when he tragically took his life. Music-wise, they were, there's that melodic driving bass, which is key part of all. You're going to say all kind of goth music, and you're going to say, well, atmosphere, and yeah, I get that. Atmosphere's got the synths on, and it's very, that's okay. A goth tune, one. I'm going to give you one. But that was originally a B-side that was posthumously released as a single after Ian Curtis's death, with the accompanying, I think, quite dodgy video. What I don't, okay, Close has got a tomb on the cover. Alright, Love Tears Apart has got a grave on the cover. Okay, got it, okay? And they are doom laden and etc. Again, but are they actually got? Look what happened next, yeah. But if you go to, I'm going to start with, yeah, their contemporaries. They toured with the Buzzcocks and they toured with Killing Joke. Both of those are first wave punk bands, really. I know Killing Joke in the 80s made a goth album, Nighttime, which was their biggest selling album. I'm doing a whole video of that, of punk bands that did a big selling goth album. Sequels though, The Damned, numerous others. But that point, they definitely weren't for most of their point. Killing Joke are a great band, don't get me wrong, and they're definitely a strange end of punk, but they're not goth. I don't think anyone really claims that they are, though they may well have influenced it, and they definitely went goth, but they weren't around then. And the Buzzcocks are just the founding members of punk, aren't they, with the Sex Pistols and like the Clash and the Damned. They're just with that punk pop, really. They invented punk pop. So, and look where the members after Ian Curtis died. Obviously, New Order came along. Actually, ironically, the first New Order album is really close to goth, if not goth movement. Have you heard that? It's not actually that good a goth album, but it is a goth album. But are you really going to call Blue Monday a goth tune? Actually, given today's propensity for electronic dance beats and goth bass lines and morose in the goth scene and morose lyrics, maybe, but not at the time. Maybe now it's a big influence on goth tunes now. You know what I mean? But yeah, actually, come to think of it, listen to Trust. Like, there is definitely maybe a New Order thing. Anyway, never mind. I'm going to twist myself up here. This isn't a video about New Order. It's a video about Joy Division. But I think there was also that sort of lumpy rock music New Order was doing after. For me, and for most people in the UK, we tend to think of Joy Division very much as they were them, as part of the punk movement. I think Joy Division really were heard in the States after Goth had happened, and as I say, I have no qualms with throwing Joy Division as one of the main instigators of that sound, and a big influence on the goth sound, but they weren't goth at the time, even though they're a big influence on it. So for me, even though they've got 26 out of 50 on the goth score, I'm not going to give them goth. You may feel differently. Please do leave a comment below, and I do fully understand it's a close call. I get it. You know, I can see why. Obviously, I can see why a lot of people would think they were goth. But be kind if you're leaving comments. And we're only at number 3, and we've already got really controversial. I wonder where number 2 and number 1 will go. Like and subscribe to find out, people, because that's the way it works. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. That's brilliant, and I will see you in the next one. Ta-ra for now.